Hello, good morning, children. Today was the last of the great Mughal emperors who had ascended the throne in 1658 CE after a bloody war of succession. The 50 years of Aurangzeb's rule can be divided into roughly two equal parts. During the first 24 years, he lived in the north, dealing directly with North Indian affairs. Now, during the second half, he lived in the Deccan, trying to crush the growing power of the Marathas. Aurangzeb's early rule, in contrast to the peaceful and stable rule of Jahangir and Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb's rule was marked by the outbreak of many revolts. Two factors were mainly responsible for these, and they were the vastness of the Mughal Empire with its remote frontier provinces, and secondly, changes in the administrative policies, for instance, the reversal of Akbar's religious policies. One of Aurangzeb's biggest missteps was the reimposition of the jizya and the pilgrimage tax on his Hindu subjects. Aurangzeb's authority was challenged by the ambitious Ahom ruler of Assam in the northeast frontier, the freedom-loving Afghan tribesmen in the northwest frontier, the hardy free-spirited Jats in the Delhi-Agra region, the rebellious Bundelas of Bundelkhand, the Satnamis, a peace-loving sect of peasants, artisans and traders. The greater challenges, however, came from for more dangerous enemies, the Sikhs, the Rajputs and the Marathas. Aurangzeb's later rule in 1680 C, Aurangzeb turned his attention to the Deccan and he renewed his efforts to annex the kingdoms of Bijapur and Golconda. And he crushed the power of Marathas. He marched to the Deccan in 1681 CE, where he spent the last 26 years of his rule. Thus began the second phase of Aurangzeb's long rule, which he spent fighting against the Marathas and the sultanates of Bijapur and Golconda. He never returned back to the north. Aurangzeb's Deccan campaigns, annexation of Bijapur and Golconda. Aurangzeb annexed Bijapur in 1686 CE and Golconda in 1687 CE. The annexation of these two states proved harmful to the Mughal Empire. It became too vast and unwieldy and brought the Mughals into direct contact with the Marathas. Now, Aurangzeb's attempt to crush the Maratha power failed. At the time of his death, the Marathas had emerged as a second center of political power and a great threat to the Mughal Empire. The long years of struggle with the Marathas had several consequences for the Mughal Empire. The war had drained the immense treasures of the Mughal and the economy of the Deccan. The Aurangzeb's prolonged absence from the north led to a slackening of administration, which was accompanied by corruption, disorder, and lawlessness in many parts of North India. Nobles became rebellious, the Jats and the Sikhs, They became more powerful and they hold their positions. The Mughal soldiers in the Deccan mutinied. In this way, many problems came in Aurangzeb's kingdom. So finally, it declined. Now we are going to see the decline of the Mughal Empire. During the first half of the 18th century CE, the great Mughal Empire decayed and disintegrated. The Mughal emperors lost their power and glory, and their vast empire finally shrank to a few square miles just around Delhi. The unity and stability of Mughal Empire had already been shaken during Aurangzeb's long rule of 50 years. His successors were pleasure-loving, weak, and inefficient. They were puppets in the hands of powerful, ambitious nobles who controlled the administration. The provincial governors took advantage of the weak government at the center and set up independent kingdoms in the Mughal provinces. And this led to the breakup and collapse of the empire. The Mughal Empire lasted for over 3 centuries, that is 300 years. Its collapse led to an intense rivalry among various powers to fill the political gap. The struggle finally ended with the victory of British who ruled our motherland, that is India, for nearly 200 years, that is till 15th of August 1947. So with this we end this chapter. Thank you so much.